Welcome to Cabcock Heliport. Within Cabcock, helicopters play an important role in safely transporting people and cargo to and from our offshore destinations. Your safety is our primary concern. It is therefore vital that you watch and listen very carefully to this video briefing. Please pay careful attention to the instructions given by your pilot, the heliport ground crew, and the helideck crews at your offshore destination. A safe and uneventful flight depends on your participation during this video briefing. Upon arrival at the heliport, report to the front counter to sign in. Please check in the following way. Identify yourself to the check-in attendant using your smart badge or identity documents. Weigh yourself. Weigh your luggage. Report to security to have your luggage searched. Move to the departure lounge to view safety briefing. Please note, certain dangerous goods are prohibited from carriage when traveling offshore. Dangerous materials include explosives, volatile liquids, and compressed gases, poisonous, oxidizing, corrosive, radioactive, and magnetic equipment. If you have any hazardous cargo that must be transported offshore, you must declare these items during sign-in. Please report any dangerous goods to senior dispatcher or check-in attendant, who will then transfer it to the senior dispatcher. The senior dispatcher will then verify and check all paperwork. Scrutiny of the package includes package being marked and labeled, properly packed, and not leaking. Along with the relevant dangerous goods, the paperwork is then left with the senior dispatcher, and the package is handed to the cargo cage supervisor. Polyethylene or plastic bags should not be used to transport personal belongings, as these can be hazardous when in the proximity of an operating helicopter. Any loose articles such as hats, caps, and safety helmets must be securely stowed inside your luggage to prevent them from accidentally being sucked into the helicopter engine intakes or struck by turning rotor blades. Once you have completed check-in, all passengers will be directed to the passenger departure lounge. Once checked in, you should not leave the building, especially if there are flight delays, as you may miss an important announcement. Your names and destination will be called. Please then go to the ready room. Once the helicopter is ready to board, you will be directed to the security checkpoint for screening. It is important to note that helicopters are very loud. Therefore, hearing protection is mandatory. When inserting ear protection, roll the ear plug into a tight cylinder. Lift the top of your ear to open the canal. Insert earplug into the open canal. Hold earplug in place until the foam expands. Make sure that all cell phones and Motorola radios are switched off. You will be led to the helicopter by either the pilot, the dispatcher, or the heliport ground crew. You are not allowed to proceed beyond the security checkpoint without an escort at any time. Helicopters should be approached with extreme caution. You should obey the instructions of the pilot or dispatcher at all times. In the event your helicopter is shut down, your pilot will give you a final safety briefing before boarding. If you have any questions, now would be a good time to ask. If the helicopter is already running, please pay very close attention to your escort and promptly follow all instructions of the pilot and ground crew in order to safely complete the boarding process. When moving to and from the helicopter, the group should remain together and with the HLO. When approaching the helicopter, always approach at a 45-degree angle from the front. Never approach directly from the front, as the main rotor path is closest to the ground, just off the nose of the helicopter. Be aware of the turning rotor blades at all times. During startup and shutdown, especially in windy conditions, slow turning rotors drop closer to the ground and can even flex downward well below head height. Additionally, the tail rotor turns at a very high speed, making it difficult to see. Never go near the tail rotor or walk around the tail of the helicopter. Also, never duck under the tail boom. Passengers should always drop bags adjacent to the passenger cabin door rather than taking bags to the cargo loading door. A helicopter landing officer will load the baggage in the cargo compartment. It is mandatory for life vests to be worn on all flights. When you arrive at the aircraft, your HLO will give you a life vest. Please put this on correctly. When donning the life vest, stand outside of the rotor discs area. Start with holding the vest in front of you with the straps facing you. Then put your hand through the opening on each side of the center strap and grab at the top of the vest. Next, raise your arms above your head and let the vest slide down with the blue part of the vest resting at the back of your neck, and buckle the chest strap. Tighten the straps under each armpit by pulling each black strap aft. Ensure that you do not pull red balls or cords unless in an emergency situation. Please remember that your life jacket must never be inflated while inside the helicopter, as you may become trapped inside. You must exit the helicopter before inflating your life jacket. When boarding the helicopter, never stand on or place objects on or near the inflation bags attached to the landing skids, as this could cause damage to the float inflation bags packed inside the gray coverings. Take your seat as directed and fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal end into the buckle. Tighten the belt by pulling on the loose end of the strap. Wear your seatbelt low and tight around your waist, with the yellow stripe facing out. Ensure that you fasten your shoulder harness correctly. To release the belt, lift up the buckle top. Once securely fastened into your seatbelt, take time to look around and familiarize yourself with the location of first aid kits, fire extinguishers, life rafts, and emergency exits. Do not unfasten your safety buckle until the aircraft has landed and the HLO has opened the door, or unless otherwise instructed by your pilot. Every aircraft contains passenger safety briefing cards that illustrate emergency procedures. Please take the time to read them, as your life may depend upon it. When flying to your offshore destination, you'll be boarding one of the following helicopters: the Bell 412, the Bell 427. The Bell 412 can carry up to 13 passengers and is flown by 2 pilots. The Bell 427 can carry up to 7 passengers and is flown by 1 pilot. To operate the Bell 412 doors from the outside, turn the handles downwards, then slide the door rearwards to open. To close, simply slide the door forwards and turn the handle upwards to lock. To operate the sliding doors from the inside, turn the handles downwards, then slide the door rearwards to open. Emergency exits are the windows in the sliding cabin doors. To escape through an emergency exit, firmly push the window out from the marked corners and make your escape. The pilot's doors may also be used as an emergency exit. To operate the Bell 427 doors from the outside, lift up on the handles to open. To close, press the door closed until latched. To open the doors from the inside, pull inward on the recessed handle. To close, gently pull the armrest handle below the window towards you until the door is latched. In an emergency, open the doors of the Bell 427 normally and exit. Please pay attention to where the fire extinguishers and first aid kits are located on each aircraft. In the Bell 412, the first aid kit is located on the right side seat of the co-pilot, mounted to the center console. One extinguisher is located on the right side of the pilot's seat, mounted to the floor. The second one is located on the right cabin wall behind the co-pilot's head. In the Bell 427, there is one fire extinguisher located in the pilot compartment next to the pilot's left shoulder. In the unlikely event of an emergency, stay calm and obey the instructions of your pilot. In the unlikely event of an emergency water landing, please remove your glasses and hearing protection and assume the emergency brace position. Once the helicopter has made its emergency water landing, wait for it to stabilize itself on the water before opening the doors or windows. Do not exit the helicopter while the rotors are still turning. It is vital that you wait for the rotors to come to a complete stop before exiting the helicopter. Please note that the emergency exit windows may also be jettisoned in the event of an emergency. During an emergency water landing, doors should never be opened unless directed by the pilot. After the doors have been opened, deploy the life raft. Please note that the doors of the Bell 412 must not be opened, as this may damage the helicopter's floats. The life rafts can be inflated by the pilots, but may have to be inflated by the passengers if the pilots are not able to do so. The Bell 412 and the Bell 427 each have 2 life rafts, which are attached to the landing gear near the emergency exits on both sides of the helicopter. The life raft of the Bell 412 and the Bell 427 can be deployed from inside the cockpit by the pilots, or if needed, by the passengers themselves, by using the red T-handles on the outside of the aft cross tubes of the landing gear once passengers and crew have exited the aircraft. Doors should be closed prior to inflating the life raft. Once the life raft has been inflated, you should unfasten your seatbelt, remove your shoes, board the life raft, and only then inflate your life vest. The life rafts are attached to the helicopter by a lifeline cord. This lifeline is to prevent the life raft from floating away. Make sure this lifeline remains attached unless the helicopter begins to sink. If this happens, you must sever the lifeline from the helicopter. If at any time you become aware of anything unusual during your flight, calmly notify your pilot by depressing the pilot call button. In the 412, the square pilot's call button is located on the aft cabin belt head. In 427, the square pilot's alert button is located on the center column by the pilot's left shoulder. When you arrive at your destination, remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until instructed to disembark by either your pilot or the helideck crew. Follow all directions from the helideck crew. All baggage will be placed near the door of the aircraft before the passengers will be allowed to exit. Keep a firm footing. If the deck is wet, it can be very slippery. After exiting the aircraft, wait for the helideck crew. After you have been instructed to leave the helideck, proceed immediately to the installation check-in area, or as otherwise directed by the helideck crew. Thank you for your attention during this video briefing. Have a safe and enjoyable flight.